Professor Juma, I would actually invite you to continue.
Come
We
back.
are, yes, come back. Come back and to continue. We are very eager to know what's going on. What are the opportunities of innovation in Africa?
Okay, I actually had a proposal that why don't we just declare this event a success, and then you can go and start nominating. This is really my objective. But I just wanted to make a connection between the Queen Elizabeth Prize and what's happening in Africa and the possibilities that exist for shaping international partnerships between Africa and the industrialized countries, Europe in particular. We've had a very long history between Europe and Africa. But that for a long period, that history was shaped by access to raw materials. And what we're starting to see, and this is my main message, is that Africa is starting to shift its policies away from just emphasis on raw materials to really starting to focus on technological innovation as a driver for economic development. This is over the last, I would say, 7 years. And this is something that's been done, led at the highest level possible by African presidents who meet at least twice a year as a group. And in almost every meeting of the African Union, issues of science and technology and innovation feature actually very prominently. So what I'm going to do is basically I'll skip this material and go straight to this idea of innovation. The way African leaders and policymakers are thinking about innovation. You have basically the discovery, which is the fundamental knowledge that's being generated. And the focus among Africans is figuring out how to harness that knowledge and put it into product and services. We're starting off the premise that a large body of scientific and technical knowledge needed to drive African economies is actually already being generated in the industrialized countries. The challenge is how to turn that into product and services to drive the economies, which is a link with entrepreneurship, because it's really businesses that enterprises are the mechanism for translating knowledge into goods and services. So the big focus is really on innovation as opposed to fundamental discoveries. And what this means essentially is that you start to see these possibilities of building new partnerships between those who are developing new knowledge and those who are thinking about how to turn that knowledge into goods and services. Much of this is actually documented in a book I've distributed, a pamphlet. The entire text of the book is actually, you can download it online. The link is provided on that little postcard. It's been very widely distributed. It was published last year, 2001. It also has my email contact, so all my details are on that card. And essentially, the idea that is really getting African leaders thinking differently about their future and the future of the continent is very much driven by this cartoon, which is actually, behind this cartoon, there's a lot of data. This is just a kind of visual presentation of how economies change over time following these long waves of economic transformation, starting with the Industrial Revolution, which was driven very much by advances in water power, improvement in iron, the expansion of global commerce, and the rise of the textile industry. This is really what drove the Industrial Revolution. Then was followed by railroads, the steam power, which is basically the expansion of the Industrial Revolution into Europe. And I'll just project it into this quickly, because the rest of it is self-evident. It's believed, and I share this view, that the next wave of economic transformation is going to be driven by green technologies, sustainability, learning from nature, which is bio-made green, and we see a lot of products where people are looking at how animals move and then figuring out new products based on animal movement or animal characteristics. Basically moving more and more towards really a green economy, whether it's chemistry or nanotechnology. And what I see here at polymer is a perfect example of that transition towards sustainability. That's going to be the way of the next economic transformation. What this cartoon doesn't show, and that's where Africa comes in, is that each one of these long waves, which was first identified by Russian economist Nikolai Kondratyev in the 20s and 30s, is that every wave has been associated with an expansion of economic players. So the number of countries participating in the new wave increased. So you got, here was really just England, and then you got Europe and the United States with the expansion of railroads particularly. You had expansion into Asia with Japan, Southeast Asian countries. And our view is that this wave is going to include African countries, the Caribbean region, Latin American countries that haven't been very big players in the global economy. And even more interestingly, regions within the industrialized countries that have been marginalized in the past will be part of this new wave. And so the economic space is going to be much larger when we move into this space of green technologies. And we see some really interesting examples of countries like Denmark completely redrawing its governance system so that it now has, instead of having more than 40 districts, it has now 5 regions, and each of those regions is organized around a particular industrial activity, which is basically the creation of industrial clusters. So it's starting to affect this vision of the future, is starting to affect the way countries are actually governing themselves internally. And that's where we see really the possibilities for African countries really becoming not just important markets, but also important players in the economic, in the global economy, but also in terms of diplomatic collaboration with other nations. I'll give some examples of that later on. I use the word Africa because generally I'm very aware that Africa is really a very large place. I'm using kind of a generic term here. Extremely diverse, and I'm also conscious that when you talk about Africa in a place like Slovenia, Slovenians start to feel that. Matea used to feel that Slovenia was small until she went to the Caribbean, then she called me up and said, my goodness, Callistus, Slovenia is so big. After going to Barbados. But Africa is such a large place. You can fit the United States in there, China, Western Europe, India, Argentina, and have sufficient room to sneak in England.
And we have a new Madagascar.
Exactly. So this is a fairly large place. Another way of thinking about it is 3 times the size of the United States. And then you have one unique attribute of that continent. This is why it matches very well with the countries like Slovenia. Is you have resources but very limited investment in the engineering sciences and science and technology. Whereas in a place like Slovenia, the UK and others, it's exactly the reverse. So that creates, in my view, a new form of partnership where those who have the resources and have knowledge can actually come together and start to develop these products, new products, in fact, in a collaborative way. There are still some big challenges with very limited road networks. I can talk a little bit about this in greater detail. African leaders are focusing on how to expand the road networks, limited railway connections. Most of these are still colonial railways that were built to move for materials. Energy continues to be a really big challenge in Africa, and it has a huge impact on scientific research, because if you don't have steady energy supply, we figured out why Nigeria, for example, has lost this by Nigeria. I finally found out why there's always power failure in Nigeria. It's because the cables are really very active at night. And then you have all these challenges that have to do with very significant variations in rainfall that is going to be reinforced, in fact, by climate change. But what makes a difference is this phenomenon of the exponential growth in scientific and technical knowledge. Many people think that knowledge accumulates in a linear country inherits a much larger pool of scientific and technical knowledge compared to the predecessors. It's estimated today that scientific and technical knowledge doubles every 12 months. And what that means is that the searching for knowledge becomes more interesting than actually generating your own. And this is the message we're conveying to particularly to African countries, saying if it's growing this fast, it's much harder to catch up. But it also means that the potential for collaboration is huge because a lot of knowledge is becoming publicly available. You know who has developed it. And this is really a good example of this where suddenly you realize that Slovenia is a big player in the polymer research. 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, we wouldn't actually have said that. And this is really an indication of just this rapid growth in availability of scientific and technical knowledge that opens up new avenues for diplomatic collaboration among countries. In that when you discover something new, you want to share it quickly to get to the marketplace because before you know it, it's going to be superseded by something else. That's really, and we've seen examples of this. You take one of my favorite examples is the sequencing of the human genome. When the human genome was sequenced in 2001, it cost Craig Venter, who did it, about $100 million to sequence the human genome. By the end of this year, December, it will cost roughly $1,000 to sequence the human genome. This is how dramatic the decline in the cost of doing research has become. And that also means that we have large quantities of the genomic information available in the public domain that offers now possibilities for people to collaborate. The equipment for sequencing genomes is also getting smaller and smaller. A decade ago, you needed a huge building to have an array of computers to sequence genomes. You actually don't need that anymore. Technology was actually developed at Oxford University, where you just drop in the biological material and in a few hours you have your organism sequenced. This little thing costs about $900. And so people are going to be carrying sequencers in their pockets like you carry memory sticks. This is how dramatic in terms of just changes in technology and availability of technical information. We find this phenomenon in a very large number of other fields as well. We have a shortening of time frames between research and commercialization. And Atea just demonstrated this by telling us how quickly suddenly she has these numerous prototypes available. And this is again being driven by just the abundance of technical knowledge. I'll give an example which relates to Africa, how Africa has been able to catch up in very unique ways, in ways that would not have been predicted if people were thinking purely in linear terms. But also to use this example of mobile phones to demonstrate the possibilities that exist with, say, new technologies like polymer research for connecting with African countries. We have a very promising continent, no longer looked at as a hopeless continent. With 6 of the fastest growing economies in the world are in Africa, and the numbers are actually going to increase. Africa is growing between 5 and 6% per year. It's the only region of the world that's growing at the moment. So